Hello, community. I'm Leanne Holland from Thrive Conejo, and I'm here to speak today because April the 2nd is World Autism Awareness Day. And for the past few years, the United Nations has recognized World Autism Awareness Day with a conference on topics of interest to the autistic community, like inclusive education. And last year, the focus was on women and girls. But this year, the conference was about assistive technology. And for those who don't know what that means, assistive technology can be a wide range of things. But for many autistics, especially those who are non-speaking, it often means alternative and augmentative communication, or AAC. And that might mean like an iPad or a phone with an app that produces speech from typing or tapping icons to form sentences. But it can also mean a dedicated communication device or something low-tech, like a letterboard where people tap letters and a communication partner speaks or writes the words. One of the great things about today's conference was that each panel had at least one and sometimes more autistic self-advocates as presenters, and several were non-speaking and used assistive technology to communicate. One of the most impactful things I heard today was from non-speaking presenter Neil Katz. He said, "Assistive technology saved me from a life of boredom and loneliness. It's about more than expressing wants and needs. It's about sharing thoughts and opinions, asking questions, and living the human experience." This really hit home for me because when my daughter began school, she had no spoken language. Through a lot of hard work, she has learned to communicate some of her wants and needs through limited speech. But she still cannot access the general education curriculum or have a conversation. Her lack of spoken and written communication are barriers to learning and inclusion. Thankfully, our district, under the leadership of Dr. McLaughlin and Lisa Miller and the administrative team, is beginning to address this issue. This past summer, 2 amazing speech pathologists volunteered for training in AAC, and they are now working with students in our district who need this kind of support, including my daughter. I'm extremely grateful for their efforts and that we are moving in the right direction as a district. But I can't help but mourn for the lost years. My daughter is in 4th grade, and I learned, from the conference today that children as young as 1st grade are learning to type and that this can help them keep up with their peers. One of the big challenges that multiple presenters emphasized today is that society equates the ability to communicate your thoughts with intelligence. As more and more autistics gain access to assistive technology, people are discovering that this assumption is just not true. For many, autism is a movement or motor planning disorder that affects speech and writing and doesn't necessarily mean a cognitive or intellectual disability. One well-known self-advocate asked people to imagine being trapped with no way to communicate, but your intelligence is intact. Sorry. Another presenter related the lack of access to assistive technology to denying a wheelchair to a person who needs it for mobility and then judging them on their ability to walk. So even though we are moving in the right direction as a district, I believe we can do better. And for those who fear that means expensive technology, one of the things I heard today is that assistive technology is not always about a machine with a battery in it. A letterboard is a very low tech, and all it takes is patience and the training to use it for educators and students alike. Imagine as young children are learning to say and write their letters, non-speaking peers are learning the skills to identify and tap letters. As a district that has so many educators and students doing amazing things and leading the way in so many fields, I think we can do the same here. We have a phenomenal resource in our community. Dr. Edlyn Pena leads the Autism Communication Center at Cal Lutheran and is a well-known researcher and advocate for AAC. She is not only plugged into the world autism community, but she also facilitates and works with non-speaking autistics attending CLU. Also, her school-age son, Diego, is a non-speaking autistic who has already written a book available on Amazon. We should be leveraging community partnerships and amazing local resources like Dr. Pena. I can imagine a pilot program or research project with grad students, with young non-speaking students in our district to help them learn assistive technology and facilitate social and academic inclusion. Or a project to provide online training to parents and educators alike about becoming communication partners. So I'm asking everyone to dig deep and help our district become an innovator and leader in using assistive technology for inclusion. Because not having a voice doesn't mean you have nothing to say. And I, for one, would love to hear what my daughter and children like her have to say to the world. Thank you.